I'm Stanley Crossick. I am by discipline a lawyer, but I've spent most of my life working politically on European integration. My probably best known achievement in Brussels is the founding of the European Policy Centre. I now do probably 80% of my work on China and China-EU relations. I do that through the Brussels Institute of Contemporary China Studies, of which I'm a senior fellow. My motivation is European integration. It has been for 40-odd years, and I suppose I shall work on it until I drop. Only those people who know me very well have understood during my life that I've never been seeking political office. I turned down both Westminster and Strasbourg because I don't want to waste most of my time on things I'm not interested in. And there's only a small amount of time when you can do something worthwhile.
Very reasonable approach.
And I was always very ambitious, and and therefore I was a threat. Sorry, I was a perceived threat. I wasn't a threat. But my character, certainly when I was younger, does not come out that way, whereas Monet was a very modest man, much more the appearance of a Van Rompuy, in fact, but he had something rather special, there's no doubt about it. I was a practicing solicitor, interested very much in international affairs, but practicing solicitor in a medium-sized firm. And I was bored one afternoon.
Was this in London?
No, sorry, London.
Okay.
We're talking about now in the 60s. And I was bored one day. So I wandered around my office, and in those days, we used to get the monthly Law Society's Gazette, which was rolled up in brown paper. And there they were, 2 years after them, still enrolled, because they were so boring. For a reason, don't ask me, I just picked one up. By coincidence, it was a current one. And I was flicking through idly and saw a notice, those interested in forming a Solicitors European group meet at the Law Society. I said, that's an interesting idea. When is this? Oh, today, this afternoon. So, it's in half an hour's time. And I was only 10 minutes from the Law Society. So I went, was surprised at the number of people there. It was decided to form one. Being talkative, as usual, I was elected to the steering committee. The steering committee appointed me secretary, and we built the Solicitors European Group. From there, I was then in the Law Society, a very cobwebby body in those days, and they had decided that they had to look towards Europe, because up to then they only looked towards the United States, and things changing. But the problem was that they didn't have people who knew much about Europe, and certainly who spoke French. In my 30s, I was elected Secretary General of the International Union of Lawyers, the worldwide body, through which I met many of the world leaders. But in my very much formative years, if you want to succeed, really getting people to follow you, do something yourself, put your money where your mouth is and make it work, then you've got all the plagiarism that follows. So I eventually decided to set this up with an Italian friend originally. But Britain was in a terrible economic state in the early, early 70s. And my practice was falling apart. Instead of acting for companies going public, I was acting on bankruptcies, and inflation was, I don't know, 25% or whatever. And can't stop the pictures, I'm afraid. And I was advising a chemical company, and the chairman saw the opportunity and offered me a deal to go to Iran, where I'd spent a lot of time in the previous year anyway helping them to set up operations there, spent half the time looking after their affairs, and the other half the time from their office doing my own thing. And that suited me because it got me out of London, and we weren't ready for Brussels yet. The market didn't take it. And then eventually I moved to Brussels in late 70s, and we started Belmont. It was very tough. We only just survived. But then we built it, certainly in people terms, to the biggest EU consultancy, with lawyers from different countries and with economists, social scientists, etc. And then Max, John and I continued thinking and writing the odd thing, and the media called us a think tank. Now, in fact, we didn't know we were. We didn't think we were. Oh, well, if they've called us one, we'll become one. So we then formed Belmont European Policy Centre, and we launched it. And then I could see how valuable this could be if I could make this successful, that it would influence other developments. And again, with great financial difficulty, we made it. And at a certain stage, we decided it was now time to make it a sort of public think tank, not just the three of us. And EPC became a great success. What attracted me to Europe at the outset was, I think, the feeling of the need for us to be working closely together. And relevant definitely is in fact that I'm a Jew, a non-practicing Jew, but I'm a Jew. Now, strange enough, most Jews, grateful to the country that let them in after the war, became more nationalistic than the nationals. But some of us believed that this was it, that the only way to solve the world's problems was to be working together.